So how on earth do you find the perfect media buyer for your social media marketing agency in 2021? How do you find them? How do you pay them? How do you manage them on a day-to-day basis? And how do you onboard them? That's exactly what we're going to be breaking down in today's video. So this one is an absolute huge one, because if you can do this for your agency, it's probably going to be one of the greatest ROI activities you can possibly partake in and actually complete for your actual agency. I'm not even joking. This is one of those ones where it's like, if you get this done, that's one of those systems that you really need to get done and out of the way. And honestly, make sure your agency just literally jump up in terms of revenue, in terms of profit you're actually making. So all I ask for in return, guys, if you're new around here, is please just drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because that's all I ask for in return for these free videos. So hopefully you've done that already. If not, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the like button. But anyway, guys, how do you go about finding the perfect media buyer? So first and foremost, there's actually a couple of, in fact, before I get into that, let me just quickly slow down and actually say this. Guys, finding a media buyer, number one, is going to be the number one kind of like ROI activity for your particular agency, especially if you're running ads. It definitely is, because if you can get a good media buyer, you can retain clients for longer. If you can retain clients for longer, you're going to make more money. Not only that, but if you've got ROAS deals in place as well, you're going to make more money on the back end. So return on advertising and spend. If you've got like a percentage of the deal, then obviously you're going to make more money. By the way, if you guys are not familiar with what a media buyer is or what they do, is they're just a person that runs your ads basically. They can also write your copy for you, but basically they primarily run your ads for you, if you will. So how do you go about finding a media buyer? And I just want to prelude by saying this. This is not easy. Finding a good media buyer is not easy, nor is it supposed to be easy. In fact, I actually compare finding your media buyer, perfect media buyer, with actually landing your first client. It might actually be just as hard, if not harder, to actually find a media buyer. So this is not just something that you're gonna post one time on Facebook and expect a perfect media buyer to come up, basically, to actually find your perfect media buyer, if you will. So this is something that you actually have to genuinely work on. It might take you weeks, it might actually take you months to actually find your perfect media buyer. But once you're done, you've actually got them, and you actually, are actually on the right trajectory to scaling your business to that 10K, 20K, 30K per month mark, because obviously they're going to be an absolute cornerstone in your business. Now, first and foremost, I want to kind of start off by saying this as well. A lot of people can't understand why on earth a media buyer would work with their agency if they're completely brand new. And the point I'm trying to make here is that I know a lot of people are scared. They actually think that, okay, I'm brand new, I've just started my agency. Why on earth would an experienced media buyer want to work with me, and if I'm completely brand new? Now, the reason for that is because certain media buyers, not all of them, most media buyers though, they genuinely just don't like the sales stuff, or having to handle clients, or just handling a business in general. A media buyer is a specific set skill, if you will, that they have, which is running the ads, writing the copy, and trying to optimize that. They don't want to do and deal with all this other stuff, which is like sales, lead generation, outreach, trying to close clients, all that sort of stuff, contracts, that sort of stuff. They don't want to deal with all of that. There's a lot of stuff that goes into a business, and media buying is just one of them. Obviously, media buying is very, very important, because that's obviously how you get results for clients, but that's just one sliver of the business. There's outreach, there's sales, there's all this other stuff. So most media buyers, they actually just want to do that particular said job, if you will. Let me ask you a question as well. If the engineers, the software engineers that built, Amazon's actual website are so good, why is it that they don't have their own Amazon website? If the engineers over at Apple who created the AirPods or created the iPhone, why is it that they don't have their own successful, mobile phone kind of like company, if you will? And the answer to that is because there's more to the actual business than just the actual creating of the product or delivering of the service, if you will. So I want to get that out by saying that. So hopefully that kind of puts that to bed, if you will. Now, here are the couple benefits of obviously hiring a media buyer. Number one, you're going to get better results for your clients. Number two, your clients are going to be happier, so they stay on. And not only that, but they're going to pay you more in terms of ROAS deals if you have a ROAS deal in place. And number three, it's obviously going to save you time. So it's actually a win-win-win situation. You're actually not going to have to deal with all of that. But how do you go about finding the perfect media buyer? So there's actually three places I particularly go to when I'm actually looking for a media buyer. And again, this is not easy, by the way, guys. You're going to have to post multiple times and stay on top of this and be very organized about this. It might take you a month, 2 months. So I actually recommend starting now. So if that's one of your questions, when should you look for a media buyer? You should look for a media buyer right now. You should have looked for a media buyer yesterday. Like, you should have started yesterday. So I actually recommend starting to look for a media buyer right now. Now, my top three kind of like go-to places in order is Upwork.com. Upwork.com is my favorite place to look for media buyers. The reason for that is because they know that they're going to be a media buyer working in an agency and not just trying to close you for their white label agency. You can actually vet them. They're actually on there to be kind of like an employee, if you will, if you actually get the right person. Obviously, you can look out for certain indicators. There are other agencies, by the way. There's definitely going to be other agencies on there that are trying to apply to your job. So if you post out a job on Upwork saying you're looking for a media buyer, Lord knows you're definitely going to get people trying to apply to that job that are actually agencies. But obviously you can weed them out through a questionnaire, which I'll talk about in a second. So that's Upwork.com. I really like Upwork.com because it's very simple to post a job posting out. You can actually reuse your job postings as well. And the people on there are like the ones that you actually find are genuinely like actually just media buyers and not agencies. They know kind of like their role, if you will. They're not trying to kind of like close you as a client. Then they're more like just like, I just like media buying. I'm just gonna go on there and apply to jobs for media that, you know, where I could just run ads and just, you know, that's me. That's all I want to do. That's kind of like where I want to be at, if you will. So that's how you go about that's how you go about leveraging Upwork. Now the second place I like to go is obviously Facebook and Facebook groups, if you will. So you can actually join a whole bunch of Facebook groups. Just literally go to Facebook, right, and then go to groups and then literally just type in like media buyer, or just go into like Facebook ads contractor. Just literally like play around with some certain keywords, start joining groups, get approved, and then actually start posting in these groups. Obviously you have to be careful what you post in these groups. Make sure you're obviously abiding by their laws and their terms and conditions, if you will, in that particular group, because you will get kicked out very, very quickly. But I found that groups can actually be a good way of finding the media buyer. I found a couple potential media buyers in there that didn't quite make it, but I still wouldn't be doing you justice if I didn't actually mention this particular strategy. So I personally haven't successfully used this particular strategy here. Not really. I found a couple potential ones, but most of my media buyers have come from like Upwork. And by the way, when you're hiring a media buyer, the key to hiring is firing, as they say. So you're probably not going to find your perfect media buyer in the first round either, and that's normal, by the way. That's actually completely normal. Like hiring an actual perfect candidate on the very first time round is, you know, quite a slim chance, to be honest with you. So expect that you're going to fail. Expect that you're going to have to fire people. Expect that people are going to be upset. Expect that it's actually going to take you a long time. But expect when you actually get this right, it's actually going to be a very valuable asset in your business. So definitely treat them with respect and pay them, you know, well, if you will. And then the third place I like to go is to LinkedIn. A lot of people don't actually know, but you can actually go onto LinkedIn and you can literally use like Boolean searches. So if you've got like Sales Navigator, it's actually going to be slightly easier, but you don't really need Sales Navigator for this. You can literally just type in stuff like Facebook ad contractor or Facebook ad media buyer, for example. Just obviously, again, play around with the keywords and actually just start connecting with a lot of people and actually asking them if they're a media buyer, if they've got, you know, if they're actually willing to do some work for you, you know, you're willing to pay them and stuff like that. And that's how you're going to go about, you know, that's where you would go about finding the media buyers. Now, when you're actually posting for a media buyer, obviously just state what you're actually genuinely looking for. Like, don't try to hide it. Say that you're an agency, you're actually genuinely looking for somebody to help you with your Facebook ads, and you need to have experience in X, Y, and Z. That X, Y, and Z is obviously depending on what clients you're looking to close. So say that you're actually an agency, you're looking to get into the e-com space, if you will, and you're looking for a media buyer that you can team up with to help you run ads specifically for e-com brands. And that's the sort of clients you're going after. So don't try to hide it. Don't try to be like weird about it, if you will, and like lie or like try to deceive people. Actually just tell them straight up, and actually in your postings be exactly like, you know, state exactly clearly who you are, what you do, and who you're actually trying to work with and why you need their help, if you will, and explain that, you know, what the actual pay is, and actually be strict on that, if you will. Now when it comes to actually paying a media buyer, here's what I recommend you do. Pay them net 15 or net 30 into the work. And that means, for example, if you close a client on the 1st of the month, for example, you can pay them on the 15th or pay them on the 30th day. The reason for that is because if you're just beginning out, you might not have the money to float, if you will. What I mean by floating is, let's say you're completely broke right now and you're looking for your first client. Now, I don't really recommend, like I said, you can start an agency completely broke, but I don't really recommend it. If I was to go back, honestly, I would just literally go and work for Uber, do like Uber driving and scale up. I'm using like social media management clients and then get into the Facebook ad realm after that, because at that point I have a lot more money, a lot more cash flow to put into my business, and it would just be much more of an easier time. I wish somebody told me this, you know, back in that day. Hopefully you didn't take that and just let it go over your head. So that's what I would do if I was starting again. But yes, you can start off, you know, completely broke. And if you're completely broke, what's going to happen is you're going to close a client, right? So this is what's going to happen. When you close a client, the payment's going to take a few, maybe like 7 days to go through your Stripe account into your bank account. And then once that's in your bank account, then you can get your hands on it and actually send it to your media buyer, for example. So you're going to need to give yourself at least like 14 days, like 10 to 14 days leeway time in order from you to close that client, which is like, let's say you close a client for like $1,000 and you're paying your media buyer $500. These are just arbitrary numbers, by the way. If you close a client for $1,000 and you've got to pay your media buyer $500 on day one, then obviously you're not going to be able to pay them on day one. You're going to have to tell them that it's net 15. Net 15 basically means you do 15 days worth of work and I'll pay you on the 15th, or the 15th day of you actually doing work, basically. So basically allows you time to what you call float the money. Floating money is when you get that £1,000 from your client, then you go to pay your media buyer the $500. It actually will take you, a couple days to go into your bank account. Those couple of days you're not going to be able to pay your media buyer. So what you can do is you can float them by stating very clearly in the contract beforehand before you start working with this media buyer that this is the actual payment terms. When we sign a new client, it's always net 15 or always net 30. Basically means 15 days after you start working, I'll pay you, or 30 days after we start working, I'll pay you. That's basically what you want to do. We have very clear terms of when you pay them. Now that's how you found your media buyers, that's how you pay them, but how much should you pay them? So that obviously depends on what sort of clients you're going after, the sort of value they can bring, the actual experience level they have. But I found that like $500 to $800-ish is normally kind of like the range, if you will. $500, and this is per month per client, by the way. So you pay them per month per client. You don't pay them on an hourly basis, you pay them a flat fee every single month. You can pay them a percentage, but I don't recommend paying them a percentage, because what's going to happen is the bigger you close a client, the more you're going to have to pay them, if you will. And it's not going to be the same per client per month each and every month, if you will. So it's going to be a little bit up and down here and there, if you will, depending on their earnings and how much you're earning from a particular client. So I recommend fixed monthly fees every month per client per month. You come up with what you're actually trying to you negotiate with them, if you will, and tell them what you're actually going to pay them, if you will. So that's how much you should pay a media buyer. Now, how on earth do you onboard a media buyer? Now, once you've got a media buyer, what you want to do is you want to take their email address and you want to add them into your Slack channel. That's kind of like you getting them in an onboard. Then once you're actually in your Slack channel, what you want to do is you want to sign a contract with them. Now, this contract is something that you can go build. You can go, again, I can't give you legal advice. This is not legal advice, but you can actually go onto, like, I think it's called LegalZoom. Yeah, LegalZoom. Just Google LegalZoom and you can actually find contracts for contractors. There will actually be a contractor contract. The actual contract itself is for a contractor. So technically your media buyer is classed as a contractor. They're not an employee, they're a contractor, if you will. So you're actually going to find the contract there. I personally had to custom build mine, and my particular contract, and again, this is the contract that I give you guys inside Agent Tramitation, so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about if you're in that particular program and you're watching this. But in my particular contract, it states, the working terms, what they're going to be doing for me, what they're not going to be doing for me, when I'm going to be paying them, how to cancel the agreement if they ever want to cancel, like termination policy, basically. Obviously the payment stuff, like I said. I also then break down, there's actually like a fair use policy as well inside of my contract, which basically states that I can use their case studies, but I can't basically use their case studies and then run away with their case studies, if you know what I mean. So I can't steal their case studies. So I basically have put that in there to kind of boost confidence in my actual media buyer, so that they can see that I'm a serious person when it comes to actually hiring a media buyer and actually, using their case studies legally and ethically, if you will. So I can't physically run away from my contractors or my media buyers actual, I can't run away with them and actually go and close clients without him, basically. So that's basically what I mean by the actual fair use policy. And that's what I put in there with all my media buyers, and they don't have a problem with that. Now, hiring and finding a media buyer is a very difficult thing. Oh wait, by the way, let me show you how you onboard a media buyer real quick. So what you want to do when it comes to hiring a media buyer and giving them access to your actual clients' ad accounts and stuff like that is, this is how you do it. So you have a business, you go to business.facebook.com and you create a business manager account. So this is kind of like your business manager account. Imagine this, right? You have a business manager account, and then what you want to do is you want to invite to your business manager your media buyer as an employee. So you're going to give them a kind of like employee access. Then what's going to happen is when you close a client, they're also going to have their business manager account on the back end of Facebook. And what you're going to do is you're going to get partner access to that. So you kind of are linked together like this. So your business manager is linked in as partner access to their particular business manager as well. It's the easiest way I found how to do this. And by the way, once you do this, don't forget your media buyer is already within your ecosystem. they're already in your business manager ecosystem, if you will, as an employee. So they're already in there as an employee. So it's you and your media buyer in this business manager account, if you will, and then it's your client over here. Then once you close the client, you're going to get partner access to their particular business manager, and that's going to link and integrate with each other like so, if you will. Then what's going to happen is your client's going to give you access to certain assets. These assets are their Facebook page, their pixel, their Instagram account, and obviously their ad account with their actual credit card attached to it. Your client already has their ad account, a credit card attached to that. Then what's going to happen is, because you've gained access to that and you control your employee, which is your contractor, if you will, you can actually then give your contractor access to your client's assets. So you can give access to their Facebook page, their Instagram page, their Facebook pixel, and their ad account. Normally those are the assets that you basically need. So that basically allows your media buyer to run ads on behalf of them as well. And by the way, your client should already know who your media buyer is at this particular point, because you should have them on your strategy call. So when you close a client, the second call you have with your client, which is your onboarding call, if you will, once you go through the onboarding process and you've actually onboarded them, you should have your media buyer on that particular call talking strategy about, what the overall strategy looks like for your particular client. So they should already have met each other. So it shouldn't be a surprise when they see that particular person's got access to their Facebook page. So it's not like you're hiding anything. Like, you're not just like randomly throwing a random media buyer into the Slack channel with your client and being like, hey, this is my media buyer. You're actually going to introduce them properly on a call. And that's how you basically get them all integrated so everybody's happy working with each other, so that nobody's kind of like confused as to like who on earth is this person with access to my stuff, and your client gets upset about that. So they shouldn't be upset about anything, because they already know what the deal is, if you will. So that's kind of like how you onboard your kind of like media buyer. Then how do you actually handle your media buyer? So handling your media buyer doesn't really require too much. I mean, what you can do when you quote unquote handling your media buyer is you're going to tell them obviously what to do, how you guys operate, your standard operating procedures and stuff like that. And obviously this is all down to how you build your business, the way how you want to operate. I can't give you your standard operating procedures. Why are you waiting for me to give you your standard operating procedures when it's your business? You should say, we run like this. That's almost like me telling you what sort of logo you should have for your agency. That's obviously very stupid. That's your logo, and then how you actually have your logo. Again, I don't really recommend logos, but you get the point I'm trying to make, hopefully. So normally what you can do, and this is how we kind of do it, we actually have 2 meetings per week with our actual media buyers. I have 2 media buyers at this particular point. One of them's not really doing much, but I keep them in the gist of things so that when we're actually ready, that particular media buyer is ready. And what I mean by that is I keep media buyers, right, in my Rolodex. These are people that I know that I'm going to work with. I just don't have the need for them right there and right then, but I don't want them to kind of fall off the face of the earth. So I actually include them in our strategy, what we're doing. I talk to them, I learn from them, that sort of stuff. So whenever we have a meeting, normally it's one person on the call, to be honest with you, but then I also include that particular person, or at least keep up with them. So one to 2 meetings a week is normally what you need. Sometimes when you're very, very busy, you can have 1 meeting per day. You don't really need that unless you've got multiple clients underneath your belt and things are starting to get really hectic depending on what you have. So that's kind of like how you can handle your media buyers. Now, I think I pretty much have covered everything. So I've covered how you pay them, how you handle them on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, by the way, you get your media buyer as well to update your clients in a Slack channel. So whenever you're running ads, for example, what you want to do is just make your media buyer at the end of the day the same. This is the key right here. This is why you get mentors, why you actually hire people to teach you what they know. Get your media buyer, right, to block off about 15 to 20 minutes in their calendar every single day at the same time every single day, basically. So that might be like, 9 p.m. for example. And that particular time, every 24 hours, what you want to do is get them to block off that particular time zone, that particular time, if you will. And what you want to do is make them give a full update on what happened that particular day. It's only going to take them like 2 minutes, but just block off 20. Now just block off 15 to block off 15 to 20 minutes. And what you do is you just get them to give your client an update. And what I mean by that is your media buyer is supposed to, every single day at that particular time, they go into the ads account, they take a look at how much was spent that particular day and how much was made and what the ROAS was. And then they put that into the actual Slack channel and state what's actually going on, so that your client and they do this every single day, by the way. Every day they drop it's literally a 2-sentence particular message in the Slack channel, and they do this every single day on what's actually happened, how much was spent, how much was made, what the ROAS was, and what the trends are looking like right now, and what we should do next. That's what you want your media buyer to do every single day, by the way, guys. And that's how you're going to keep your clients happy and kind of like their investment safe with you. It's almost like, you know, like when you pay somebody to do a job and you can actually see the work getting done, and it actually feels really cool because you can actually see somebody doing work for you and actually paying them, and you feel like a proper business owner. That's what your client's going to feel like. They're going to be like, oh my days, this agency is actually doing a good job. They're updating me on a day-to-day basis, and they're actually giving me proper updates at the same time every day, and we've spent this much, and I can clearly see what's going on with my investment in terms of my actual advertising and how much we made back. And that's what you want to do with your media buy and with your clients as well. So that's how you go about doing that. And again, obviously, when you have a Slack channel with your clients, so there's going to be you, your client, and maybe whoever they want on their team, and there's obviously going to be your media buyer inside that Slack channel. So it's going to be you all inside a Slack channel, and that's how you kind of handle the communication as well. And I use Slack for that. I use the free version of Slack, by the way, if you're wondering. Well, anyway, guys, that's how you go about finding a media buyer, how you handle the whole situation, how you onboard them, how you give them access to your clients' assets, how you pay them, when you should pay them, everything. Hopefully this is the be all end all video for you guys in this particular field of hiring a media buyer. And that's how I've been able to do it with my particular agency. Anyway, guys, if you want my one-to-one help, the link is below to one-on-one coaching. If not, you can actually join agency traumatization. Agency traumatization is normally going from, you know, helping beginners, whereas the one-to-one program is obviously slightly more advanced people that have at least a decent investment to make. It's actually a multiple figure investment in my particular coaching. So please obviously only book in if you have multiple figures to invest into your own business, because it actually is a high level program, if you will, and that's going to help you scale to like 10k, 20k, you name it. Once you get past like 10k, like first 5k, I can help you scale to 10k, 20k, 30k, 50k. It's just a process of rinse and repeat. Anyway, guys, hope you're doing well. And yes, the one-to-one program does come with a full money back guarantee, and I've had 0 refunds at this particular point. Over 80 students actually, I've actually worked with one-to-one, so I actually have 100% track record with that. So yes, it's very in-depth stuff, very in-depth stuff, very comprehensive. So yeah, if you're interested in that, the link is below. Agent Fragmentation is still 50% off as well if you want to get into that. Anyway, guys, that's enough plugging my actual programs. I mean, I need to plug my program because I know for a fact they're going to be very helpful to you guys. But anyway, guys, hope you guys are doing well. And before I go, don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, you guys.